Welcome to MojoPlays, and today we're looking at video game sequels that desperate fans have been craving for years. But before we get into it, we publish new content all week long. So be sure to subscribe and ring the bell to get notified about our latest videos. Dino Crisis 4. Capcom's Dino Crisis was a bit like its Resident Evil series, just with dinosaurs instead of zombies, with the first game even being developed by the same team. Reception was pretty strong for the first two entries, but things then went downhill. And we haven't gotten a new game since 2003's disappointing Dino Crisis 3. Fan demand for a new game has never gone away. In fact, when Capcom revealed 2023's Exo Primal, many fans were bummed to learn it wasn't part of the previous series. Furthermore, in early 2024, Capcom surveyed players about what dormant franchise they'd like to see return, and Dino Crisis came in first with 32% of the total vote count.
Don't forget, you still owe me one.
Super Mario RPG 2. While Paper Mario is still going strong, and we're happy to see the Mario and Luigi series return, there's no denying there are legions of players who crave a sequel to his first RPG. Square's take on the Mushroom Kingdom had a wonderful story and charming characters who have yet to return, but who are still beloved by players well over 25 years after the game's release. A remake was released for the Switch in 2023, which was received extremely positively by fans around the world. That has only made dormant desires for a true follow-up return stronger, with fans hoping the positive reception leads to a new game on the Switch's successor. Rayman 4. It's no secret that Ubisoft's output has been on a downward slope in recent years. The studio has canceled several titles, and the ones it has released haven't performed as well as it had hoped. So, we'd say now is the perfect time to bank on nostalgia. Rayman hasn't gotten a new, full game since 2013's Legends. The side-scrollers are fantastic, but what many players seem to want is a return to his 3D adventures. A Rayman 4 was in development at one point before it morphed into the first Raving Rabbids game, a series that grew to be hated by many die-hard fans. Even with as much hatred as Ubisoft seems to draw these days, many would undoubtedly get excited over a new Rayman. Days Gone 2. For its single-player releases, Sony has seemingly been determined to keep only those with the highest critical rankings. Since the first Days Gone only got mediocre reviews, the publisher passed on moving forward with developer Bend Studios' plans for a sequel. However, to players, that's a downright shame, as there were so many directions a sequel could have gone in. The game sold well enough, reaching 7.32 million copies within 3 years. Since news broke about the scrapped sequel, its player base has mourned its death, but has kept the IP in the conversation at every possible opportunity. Incoming! Jak and Daxter 4.
There's only one person who has studied Dark Eco long enough to have a chance at returning you to your previous form.
Jak and Daxter was like the bridge between two eras of Naughty Dog, a blend of the zaniness of Crash Bandicoot with the edge of Uncharted. It became a popular action-adventure series for the PS2 before fizzling out on the PSP with 2009's The Lost Frontier. A fourth mainline game was in the early stages of development in the late 2000s, which was scrapped in favor of creating more realistic games like The Last of Us. As Naughty Dog have continued down that path, there are many who have grown to crave a return of the brooding Jak and his wise-cracking Otzel companion. It seems unlikely that it'll ever happen, but that doesn't stop fans from requesting it.
Now get your squirrely ass out of here.
Titanfall 3.
Just like before.
Not exactly. There are significantly more variables to throwing between two moving platforms. Good luck.
We all know Titanfall 2 had a terrible launch, foolishly sandwiched in between Battlefield 1 and Call of Duty Infinite Warfare. However, when players discovered it later, which many did, the praise never ceased. It had one of the best FPS campaigns in years, and the online multiplayer modes were endlessly addictive. For the better part of a decade, fan demand for a third installment has grown increasingly vocal. Developer Respawn has been busy with Apex Legends, the battle royale set in the same universe, and the Star Wars Jedi series. There have been rumors of another game set in the same universe, though distinctly not Titanfall 3. Whatever it turns out to be, we doubt requests for a third entry will stop.
That's insane.
I'm incapable of insanity, pilot.
Bully 2.
Feeding time at the zoo. Okay, here's the deal. Over there, we got the nerds. Of course, they're complete social outcasts.
Released in 2006, Rockstar's Bully received a ton of praise for its story and characters, having players navigate a boarding school and contending with local bullies. While Grand Theft Auto continued to receive sequels and spin-offs, and Red Dead Redemption eventually earned a prequel, desire for a Bully 2 has stuck around a surprisingly long time. A sequel was apparently in development before being scrapped for unknown reasons, and when that news broke in 2019, scores of players lamented the fact they'd never get to see what Jimmy Hopkins was getting up to. We doubt we'll ever get a sequel, which is a genuine pity considering how strong the original is. Banjo 3E. Rare's time with Nintendo gave us some of the best platformers in existence, and it's an era that few seem keen on letting go of. Banjo Kazooie and its delightfully named sequel, Banjo Tooie, are some of the highest regarded on the N64, so much so that desire for a third game has persisted ever since. While we did get nuts and bolts after the studio was acquired by Microsoft, it didn't reach nearly the same heights. Whenever the topic of dead franchises is brought up, it's never long before the duo is mentioned. There's also a strong desire to see Conquer the Squirrel return, but the immensely positive reception to Banjo and Kazooie joining Smash shows that everyone would eat up a third game. Bloodborne II. Just about every release of From Software is praised, but Bloodborne holds a special place in the hearts of many. The gothic aesthetic of Yharnam and the eldritch focus of its bosses have kept it high on the list of PS4 exclusives. Despite multiple games from the studio gaining renown, fans still desire some type of follow-up, and we're right there with them. There's no doubt that Bloodborne 2 would be a success. However, the publishing rights lie with Sony, who has, so far, shown no interest in creating a sequel. It's gotten to the point where fans now just hope for a remaster of the first so it runs higher than 30 FPS. Half-Life 3.
Dr. Freeman, I presume. I better hurry.
To be honest, half of this list could be sequels to Valve games. We all want to see the creative possibilities of a Portal 3, just as we all want to slay zombies with our friends in Left 4 Dead 3. But there is no Valve series, or nearly any series in general, that has more fan demand behind it than Half-Life. The series ended on a cliffhanger with Half-Life 2 Episode 2 in 2007. Episode 3 was cancelled, as was a version of Half-Life 3. A prequel was released in 2020's VR-only Half-Life Alyx, which did give us a bit of hope. But until anything concrete is announced, Half-Life 3 will remain the most fan-requested sequel, and if it ever does come to pass, its announcement will undoubtedly break the internet.
Here, let me buy you a drink.
What video game would you love to get a sequel to? Share your thoughts in the comments, and be sure to subscribe to MojoPlays for more great gaming videos every day.